Okay, so in the last video, I had a problem with the shooting. After I pressed the shoot button, the character would go into non-aiming mode for some reason. So I found a fix for it. So the first thing is I need to go to the animation player, and I'm going to select shoot pose shoot. And right now it's not on loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press loop. So I'm going to have it so that when the oops when the left mouse button is being pressed, then he's going to constantly shoot, kind of like I guess like a slow machine gun. But I'm not sure why it's not playing. Anyways, yep. So I'm just going to make sure that it's looping, and I want to head back into the script, and this is the oops, under the function input. This is the script where he's shooting, so I need to script it so that he's not shooting when the button is released. So I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to turn this into an else if. Event is action released. The action button, which is the leftmost button, and aiming is 1. Anim tree dot set one shot. This has to be abort. Again, I'm recording with my phone instead because my screen recorder is kind of laggy when I hit play. So if I hit play, so I'm walking around, I can run, and then as soon as I hit the middle mouse button, I'm in shooting mode. And if I shoot, I can keep the button down, and then he constantly shoots, and if I let go, it's all good. And if I hit the middle mouse button to go into regular mode, that's working as well. So the only thing that I need to change is when he's aiming, I need to move the camera position so that it's closer to him and slightly to his right. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, so first I need to, in order to implement this, I'm going to go into my variables, and I'll create a variable called already variable spring arm will be equal to camera pivot spring arm 3D, and I need to right click on my spring arm and access as unique name. So I'm going to go all the way down to my physics process function, and here I have a little section where if aiming is equal to 0, then he's in regular mode, but as soon as aiming is set to 1, then he rotates with the camera. So I'm just going to do everything under here. So I'll just make a space so I can differentiate the two functions. So this is going to deal with the camera rotation, or his rotation in relation to the camera. The second part here is going to deal with the spring arm. So spring arm dot spring length equals blur 3.0, which is the length of the spring arm. Delta times 3. So this last number I can adjust to whatever I want. Something, I have a typo here somewhere. Spring arm. Oh, so this is length, dot length, not an underscore, I believe. Oh no, this is, it's correct, it's underscore. Oh, I see. Okay. So I need to copy this and paste it here. And all I'm doing, so if he is aiming, it's going to come closer to him. So this is going to be 1. So this is the spring arm length is going to be set to 1. So as you can see, this is 3 units. 1, 2, 3. You can barely see it. Maybe if I go top view, I can't really see it there either. So you can see the length of it. As soon as I change it to 1, then it goes way here. So it's going to be this close. And another thing to keep in mind is that because I'm trying to do everything with this first if statement, I don't want it to be affected by this. The indentation can't be here, otherwise it's going to be affected by this. I want it to be affected by this, so therefore this indentation has to be here. Same with this. Okay, so far that piece of script that I just did, it only affects the closeness. I'm only doing the spring arm length, but I also need to adjust the spring arm position in the Z so that it's over here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I need to go to the variables again. Right here I'll go at export variable, I'll call it spring arm position, POS. I'll make it a vector 3, and it's going to be equal to vector 3 0 0 0. So this is the regular position, so as you can see it's already 0 0 0. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And this one's going to be called aim. So when he's aiming, I'm going to push the Z, the X into minus 0.8. Oops. So if I go back to 3D, if I push this to 0.8, oh, it has to be minus 0.8, sorry. It's going to be over here. So just slightly to his right. Yep, so minus 0.8. And back down in the same section in the process, if aiming is 0, then right underneath what I just did, I'm going to create another line. This one's going to be spring arm position will be equal to spring arm dot position dot move toward spring arm underscore position, which is the variable that I just created, 3 times delta. So that number is just, I can adjust that to higher or lower if I want to go faster or slower. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it and paste it down here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to aim. So this is the aim location. Okay, so if I hit play, I can walk around, walk and run, and as soon as I hit the middle mouse button, the camera, or the spring arm adjusts so that it's closer and to the right of the player. And if I press the middle mouse button to or the left mouse button to shoot, then he constantly shoots. And if I let go, and if I press the middle mouse button again, then it goes back into normal mode. Okay, so everything looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, just to spice this up a little bit, is I'm going to create a crosshair. So in order to do that, I need to create an image first. So I'm going to go into my photo editing program that I use, which is GIMP. If you haven't used it before, it's an absolutely free to use photo editing program, much like Photoshop. So I'm going to create new, and the size I'm using is 40 by 40 pixels. So I'm going to zoom right in. And I want to create another layer, this button here. I want to create let me get a green color. Like that. Actually, I'll use the bright green. Hardness, I'm going to do 100% hard. Size, I'm going to make it fit the square. So you can barely turn that on, you can see it. So if I place a dot right there and I turn this off, then you can see my dot. And I want to go to eraser mode, and I want to size this down. I'm just going to go like that. Actually, it's a little bit off. Try to be a little bit more accurate. That looks okay. So I'll just export that. So in my project folder, I have an art folder, and I'll just call it, whoops, Crosshair. Okay. Export. I'm going to go here. And what I need to do now is, with my camera selected, I'm going to right click on my camera. I'm going to add a child. It's going to be a texture, whoops, texture rect. I think it means texture rectangle. And it's going to automatically put me in this 2D mode. And on the texture, I want to go into my art folder, and I'm going to drag and drop the crosshair here. So it automatically puts it at the top left corner. Let me see. Where's the position? Texture. It's under layout. Oh, transform. Position. So what I have is it's 1080 across in 1920. Oh, sorry. The height is 1080, and then the width is 1920. So it's gonna be in the center. So it's going to be 960. But because this is 40. This is 40 across. I think right now the pivot is on the top left corner, so I need to move it 20 across and 20 down. So that is why I need to go back here and change, subtract 20. So 940. For the height, it's 540 minus 20, so 520. So that should put it dead in the middle. So I'm going to go and save scene as. Oops. Save all scenes. Go back into player 3D. Go into script. And when under the function physics process, I have if aiming equals 0. There I'm going to put get a reference to the texture rect dot visible equals false. And if aiming is 1, which is true, then this is going to be set to true. So I'll go and hit play just to show. So I walk around, run around, middle mouse button, and then you can see the crosshair right in the middle. And if I middle mouse button again, then it disappears. So that's all I wanted to show for that. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to create a Raycast so that the player can deal some damage when he's shooting. So first I'm going to, under the camera 3D, I'm going to right click, add child node, and I'm going to add Raycast 3D. And I'm going to set this to 0. I want to make sure enabled is on, and then on the Z it's going to be, I think, minus, make it 1000 forward. So in the script, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called damage. So this is the damage that I'm dealing. It's going to be equal to 1. Ready. I'm going to make a reference to the Raycast. going to be equal to this here. So Raycast 3D, it's going to be assigned to this variable. And I also need one more variable that says can fire. And it's going to be set to true. The reason why I'm doing this is because when he shoots, he throws his hand forward. So he does that like I think every half second. So whenever the button is pressed, it's going to be set to false, and it's going to wait half a second before it sets to true again. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a second. So I'm going to go down here. I guess I'll do it right before the function physics process. I'll do function fire, and then I'll do if input is action pressed. So if the action button is pressed, which is the leftmost button, and aiming equals 1, which is 1 is true and 0 is false. So if he's aiming and can fire equals true, and the first thing is right away can fire is set to false if Raycast is colliding. I'm going to create a variable called target, which is going to be the enemy. Raycast.get collider. So I'm getting the collider of the target if it hits something. If target is in group called enemy, which is a group that I'm going to create a little bit later. Oops. Target is in group enemy, then target dot health minus equals damage. And one last piece of code that I'm going to add here. It has to be aligned. It can't be indented, this last piece of code, because it's not going to be affected by this if any of these if statements. So it has to be right here. So await get tree dot create timer 0.5, so 0.5 seconds. Timeout. So after 0.5 seconds, I'm going to do can fire is set back to true, because at the beginning of this function it's set to false as soon as the button is pressed. I need to create the enemy. So first I'm going to save all scenes, and then I'll go to world, press this add new scene, other node, I'll just make it a character body 3D, and I'll rename this to skeleton 3D. I'm going to save this scene as a skeleton 3D, and I added a skeleton folder to my project, so all I have to do is drag and drop the skeleton on here. So I'm not going to animate it or anything, I'm just going to leave it as an object. So to this, I'm going to go to the groups, and I'm going to add, and it's going to be, I want to call it enemy, and it's going to be global, which means it can be used anywhere. It doesn't have to be just in the scene. If I turn this off, if it's off, it means it's a scene group. It's only good for whatever scene it's in, but I'm going to do global. So create, and it's on this it's checked. So if I go to player, for instance, it's unchecked. So on this one it's checked. So I also need to add collision shape 3D. And it's going to be a capsule. I'm going to bring it up 1 unit. And make it like 0.2, 0.3, nice, make it nice and fat. And I think that should be it. I'm not sure what else I need to change. I'll figure it out as I go. But onto the skeleton 3D, I need to create a script, and the script is going to be an empty. So I'll just hit create. So on this character body script, I'm going to create a variable called health equals, whoops, 5. I'm going to create a function ready pass, and we'll create another function called process delta, and if health is smaller or equal to 0, then Q is free, which means that's the code for making it, for destroying the node. Okay, so I'm going to save all scenes. I'm going to world. Go to 3D view. I'll throw some skeleton TSNs into the world. And I'll spin these around 180 so they're facing the player. So let's copy and paste these. So when you're pasting them, you have to make sure the world is selected. So I'll just do 3 for now. Okay, there's a couple of changes that I need to make. First of all, I made an error here. This should be underscore. And this skeleton, I think I should probably put a colon there. I want to get rid of this. I'm not going to do the weight anymore. I'm not sure if it's going to work, so I'm going to get rid of can fire and this as well. Oh, and I also forgot to call this fire function in the physics process. So as this is firing, this gets fired. So with that in mind, I'm going to get rid of this can fire boolean. And instead of damage, I'll just set it to equal to 0 right away. So if he shoots once, the enemy's going to disappear. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. Just adjust this camera. Okay, so if I can run around, hit the middle mouse button to aim, and if I click on these, they disappear. Ideally, I want the fire to hit them multiple times before they disappear, but I haven't figured out how to do that. So I'm going to leave that for a separate video. I'm going to cut it off here. I think this is going to be long enough for one video. So I'm going to figure out how to do that, and I'll probably do a third, maybe a fourth video. I'm not sure how long this is going to take. I also want to add some particles to his hands while his hands are out like this, and I want the particles to disappear when he's back in normal mode. So those things I'm going to figure out. I'm going to try and figure out, and once I do, I'll make the next video to this little series. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully I'll see you in future videos.